welcome to the Dove Show. I appreciate you guys, man. Check me out.
I caught an L at a young age, stretched out. Getting 24, homie, I got 5 out. Now on YouTube, trying to get a paper route. Coming till you know the deal, we on some grown shit.
Back, everybody. New video. Don't worry about that crease. Now that I pointed it out, you're not going to be able to stare at nothing but that crease. It's all good, though. How's everybody doing today? Today's video, it's going to be another Y.A. one. You know, there's a lot of questions that I'm asked regarding prison that because of the politics of prison, I stay away from, you know, as much as I can. But a lot of them can be applied to the California Youth Authority. And there's a lot of things that are specific and unique about the Youth Authority that I can't talk about because, you know, that's when we were kids. It was different. You didn't have all the other very serious things that go on in prison as far as organizations and, you know, stuff like that. So anyways, one thing that I wanted to comment on or talk about is I get a lot of questions regarding sexual relations between inmates and staff in prison, right? Convicts and staff. And that does go on. It's harder to do without people figuring it out. But I'll tell you one thing, in the Youth Authority, it goes on a regular basis. And not only do people know about it, but dudes will even be like with their homies, like, that's my lady right there. You know what I mean? And it goes down regularly. Like way more often than people would think. Like on a daily basis, dudes will have, I mean, that's your counselor, or that's a counselor in the unit. So that counselor can pull you in, you know, I'm not going to say, but yeah, it can, when everyone else is out of the way, you know, you got to talk to your counselor and it goes down. So there's that. But one thing that I wanted to talk about that I think, you know, like you hear sometimes me mention it, you hear Gunner a lot of times mention the Ranflas, the different cars in the Youth Authority. So when you're in the California Department of Corrections, you hear about the cars, the different cars, right? And the cars are the different disruptive groups or whatever, right? So it could be the, you know, the raza from down south, the raza from up north, the paisas, the woods, you know, the Crips, the Bloods, whatever. Those are different cars, right? Okay. But in the California Youth Authority, you could have a car and you could be in a dorm. We call them compas, right? You could be on a compa and, you know, there's, however, let's say 20 dudes from down south, right? And those 20 dudes are broken into 3 different cars, but they're not based on geography at all. They're based on who you're cool with, right? So you could have a car that's, you know, a dude from Santa Barbara, then a dude from Compton, a dude from East LA, whatever, how many dudes are in your car? 4, 5, 6 dudes in your Ranflas. And we eat with each other, play handball, we work out together, whatever, but we look out for each other, right? So let's say you're from a neighborhood and there's like, you're the only one in the institution in Y.A. in that institution from your neighborhood, but you have a bunch of enemies. Well, me being in your Ranflas, if I see you getting down with your enemigo, it's all good. If I see your enemigos jumping you, I'm jumping in, and everybody else in our Ranflas, we're going to jump in. And there are, well, all the Ys are shutting down now, but there were barrios that were hundreds of miles away from each other, never saw each other on the streets, but in Y.A. there were enemies, and it was on site, and it was because of the Ranflas. You could even be, I could be in a Ranflas with, you know, 5 or 6 dudes and have my own homeboy from my neighborhood in my compa, but he's in a different Ranflas. That's who we choose to kick it with. That's who he's cool with. He relates more to, right? Because maybe I got there after, or maybe there's, and there's in some barrios, in some neighborhoods, even though you're from the same neighborhood, you don't really get along. There's a lot of dudes from my neighborhood I didn't like, and I still don't. They're still from my neighborhood though, but for whatever reason, we just don't like each other. And it is what it is. And that could be the case too. And your Ranfla might go at it with theirs and you get down with your own homeboy. That's how crazy C.Y.A was, man. But whenever, you guys remember, I was in Paso, and then I got kicked out of Paso and I went to YTS. I paroled from there, right? And Paso was gangbanging was mandatory, right? You had 3 days to get off on your enemies. If you had any in your dorm, you had 3 days to start getting off on them. And then every few months, I think it's every 3, or I think it was, excuse me, every 3 months, they change all your classes, right? And it goes down when you get your new classes. In the school area, it goes off, because you have to, if you got any enemies in your class, you got to get them. Then you could be like, why it was just about getting off. Also, it was very racial over there. Very, very racial. And when it came to the riots, if there were racial riots over there, it didn't matter what Ranfla you were in. Raza from Southern California got together, boom, whatever the riot happened, once everything was done, you go back to regular program, gang banging on each other and everything else. But in Paso, in the school area, if like right across the hall is your enemigo, you're not able to line it up, to get to them. What you do is, they had this thing, and it was called the hallway, right? It was a corridor right down the center of some of the classes. I think it was 6 classes on one side, and then the corridor, and the 6 classes on the other side. And then you had other classes separated from that. But you would send a huila, boom, to your enemigo. And you would tell them, hey, Holmes, check this out. Fuck all the bullshit. At 10:30, do whatever in your class, right? To get sent to the hallway. And I'm going to do the same thing. If you don't, you ranked out. And you will get dropped leva on your compa when they find out. So what you do is you write that huila and you give it to somebody in his compa. And you tell him, read that and hand it to him. That way he knows you know him. Boom, 10:30 the next day, you go to class and you throw the pencil at the teacher, or do whatever, throw something in the class, or just get up and start acting crazy. They'll get the huras, hey, take this dude out of here. And what happens is you have to stand in the hallway for an hour. And then after the hour, they send you back to your compa, right? So boom, like I said, that day that is scheduled, you act up, boom, 10:30, you go, and the huras know. So what they'll do is they take you in there, and then they pat you down. Make sure you don't have a weapon on you, and walk out. And there's a little box. You can't step out of that box, or else the huras will come out there and get you, right? So you're in there, and it's a cage. It's like the classrooms, and then cage, classroom, cage, classroom. You're locked in there, and there's doors that shut you in on each end. And then you be kicking it, and then you see your enemigo come. They put him down there at the end of the hallway, and you look like, all right, cool, he's here. And the huras will strip him out. Search him down, boom, boom, boom. Then they walk off. You wait a second. You give that look, and they had a thing in Y.A where they go like this. That meant meet me halfway, fool. So you look. But you'd have some about to be like, I'm going all the way over there, and then boom, you would get down. Y.A, when it came to that type of stuff, it was kind of fun, right? Like you young men, let's see, you're chunk, but I have told you about all of the predatory stuff that happened in there too. That's the stuff that was torture. It came from the jailers themselves, the YCs and GSs, they call them, but those are the cops. The GSs dress like you see the prison guards dress, and then the YCs are the counselors. They dress in regular clothing, right? But you had some very sadistic people that were employed there. You had, I don't know, man. I don't know who rubbed off more on who, man, but it was a treacherous place. I've told you a lot of times it's a place where killers were made, but I've already rambled enough for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like, man. Share the video with somebody you think would like it. Thank you for supporting the channel the way you guys always do. I'm on my way to go to the mailbox and pick up my microphone so I can do reactions on the other channel. And I'm going to probably go stop at Best Buy, look into getting a new camera because the echo thing. So hopefully I'll have a video out for you on the other channel today. That's my intention. Everybody, please stay safe, stay smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.